All right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Villain Viver podcast. I'm one of your regular hosts, Elk, and along with me today we have,
Gabriel.
and together Gabriel and I will be interviewing one of the contestants from season 5 right here at Villain Viver, Regin. Regin, why don't you go ahead and say hello to all of our listeners?
Hello, everyone. I'm Regin, competed on Season 5 Villain Viper, and, got 17th. Whoop, whoop.
Definitely a big character during Regan's time on season 5, so this is going to be a perfect chance to get their perspective on some things in and outside of the season.
Can I have to start. I feel like everyone needs to know. You have to settle the score. I know that we've said your name a few times, but the question on everyone's mind is, how do you say it?
How do I say? Okay, it's Regin. It's just nice, short, and sweet. I promise it's not Rain. It's not Reggie. It's just Regin. And it's not Reagan. Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. We just had to settle the score because, believe it or not, I don't know if you paid attention to the season, but your name and how to pronounce it was a topic of conversation up until the end.
It really was. Honestly, who would have thought my name? But honestly, I'm very happy with it. And once people can get it, I'm honestly happy. It's fun to watch some people struggle sometimes. I'm not going to lie, it's a little amusing.
Regan the villain. Okay.
I know. That's why I had to play Villain Viver.
Exactly. Well, let's start at the very beginning before the season even starts, because when you said there, that's why I had to play Villain Viver, and talking about, the having people struggle and a little bit of at least the tastes of a villainous persona there leads us to the question of when you were doing your interview for the season, and thinking about the way that you'd want to approach the game if you were part of the cast. What were you thinking about in terms of whether you wanted to be more of a hero, more of a villain, somewhere in between? What was your mindset going in before you even knew that you were on the cast?
Honestly, my mindset going in was playing a totally different game from how I've played in the past. I wanted to be very active, very present, because, I am just a social player in general. But I wanted to be, trustworthy at the beginning, and then I slowly wanted to be able to use that trust to play some blindsides and maybe make some moves later in the game that I never unfortunately got to do. That I was so ready to do because I felt like I was in such a good position, but I definitely wanted to come in starting being a little bit of a goody two shoes and then maybe moving into being a little bit more of a threat, someone to watch out for.
So would you say that you had the mindset of trying to play with a hero face until you could pull away the mask and show sort of a villainous side underneath?
I agree with that. I wanted to be the secret villain no one guessed in the movie. They're like, oh, that's the villain? Yeah, I want to be that.
Okay. And obviously, as Gabriel always likes to tell us at the start of every season, we have an incredibly large number of applications here at Villain Viver.
Don't call me out! Okay.
So how did it feel realizing that out of all those applicants, you had already beaten more than 2/3 of them just by making it onto the cast?
When I tell you I was shocked, at first, when I first was like, okay, I'm going to make the application. Emma asked me to send in an application. I'm going to do that. And I started doing it, and they were like, oh, yeah, we get 60 to 130 applications every time. I'm like, excuse me? Really? Whoa. So when I was making it, I was definitely like, oh, is this enough? Have I put enough in? And then I got on and I was like, oh my gosh, oh shit, I got on. Oh my gosh. So I was very excited. As you can tell, my confessionals, I definitely filled them. I was ready.
Well, one of the interesting things about this season, in addition to the young versus old twist, which we'll get to in a second, was the way that the theme played into people's enthusiasm for the season, because Shrek was definitely one of the most popular themes that we've had so far, but our cast had a pretty wide range from people who were here in large part because they were huge fans of Shrek and were drawn in by the theme, to those who more just had a passing familiarity with everyone's favorite green ogre. And where would you rank yourself on that? Was the theme Shrek a big part of the appeal to you? or was that something that was more incidental to you?
I feel like for me it was a little bit more incidental. I do love Shrek. I love the Good Fairy Godmother. We got a belt out. I Need a Hero.
You got to do
love
that
that.
for us on the interview. We're not ending this without one of those.
Oh gosh. All right. We'll come back to that. We'll circle around. Give me a moment. I gotta do some vocal warm up. But yeah, it was a little bit incidental for me. I was like, I like the theme, and I just like the idea of Villain Viver, so that's kind of why I ended up going in. Shrek was just a bonus.
All right, and that brings me to my second point that I mentioned in that previous question, which was the idea of the young versus old twist for our starting tribes. Do you think that that made a big difference at the Marooning and in the early days of the game?
See, that's hard. I've always been thinking about this. It's a yes or and a no for me personally, because I feel like based on who you had in the young and the old was really what made that dynamic. Because I feel like if you had some of like someone with Roman's personality in the younger tribe, that would change the tribe dynamic. Because the young tribe just came in being so free and so like they were secretly gameplay, whereas the older tribe was, gameplay this, gameplay that. Like that was where our heads were. So it was definitely a change that could be generational. It could just be personality of everyone. But I definitely think it had a little bit of an impact, but I don't think it was the main factor for concluding how that season went.
So that's interesting. So you think that, at least from your perspective, in the early days of the game, the older tribe was much more focused on the gameplay compared to the younger tribe?
Well, to your face about it, I feel like they would actually actively message about it. I feel like the younger tribe, well, at least when I was there, that could be because they were voting me out. They like to skirt around that a lot.
That's interesting. And we did see quite a few alliances begin to develop in that older tribe, even right during that first episode. Um, who would you have said you immediately connected with and wanted to play this game with?
Immediately? Oh gosh, I did really like Jade coming into it. Jade was really nice. I did like Jeff. I liked looking. Regina, I was unsure about because
Hi, China.
she just sent a lot of text, so I was like, whew, I felt a little overwhelmed. But she was nice. The thorn in my side of why I went home. Yeah, I think. Oh, what else did I really like? Give me a second. I'm actually just trying to quickly look at my list because I actually had a list of everyone. Oh, David. David's who I really liked. David, I really, really liked.
Interesting, because he went home pretty early.
He did. We had a great vibe and talk over Henry Cavill and just how hot the man is. So like, it was a great like. We were literally just fangirling the entire time.
I mean, that's the thing in these games, right? Any topic of conversation that connects people.
He's ugly. Sorry.
All right.
Any topic of conversation that connects people, no matter what it is, can really make a huge difference, especially in the early days like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. That was definitely it.
David is. Never mind. I have questions, but let's continue. That's a me and David conversation.
So after that, we end up getting to our first challenge of the season, and this is where we're going to have the infamous Jack Tribal. And this is the tribal where a couple of names came out for various reasons due to various people being less active, but then the reasons for those people being less active came up. And it seemed to be at least a little bit of a controversial tribal from the production and spec lounge perspective, in terms of a lot of people wanting to go a lot of different directions for a lot of reasons before things ultimately settled on Jack. What did you think that round looked like from your perspective?
Oh, it was chaos. Like, it wasn't chaos, but it was definitely, it was a lot. Like, going in, none of the people who talked a lot, like myself, Roman, the Dead Flower, The dead flower's Iris, just in case anyone didn't
It
know.
took me a second.
And then, like, myself, Jet, and Wims, unfortunately, Jet kind of fell onto the bottom. But the thing is like, it was Mother's Day, so like none of us wanted to do Nay. We literally had just heard her kids, and I had to talk with her while she had her kids on VC in the challenge previously. And then Toaster made good bonds with myself and Roman, and we had a lot of sway in the tribe, so we didn't want to lose him either. Then at the same time, who wants to vote out Jack for literally missing something because of a funeral? Like, that was shitty. I think that was my downfall right there, honestly. If I could go back, I would have changed my vote to Toaster.
Why is that?
Just because I felt like he fought so hard, and I feel like after seeing him fight, he deserved more in the game, personally, I felt. And I just feel like because you missed something because of a funeral, like, it's a valid excuse. I feel like I shouldn't have caved and went with Toaster. I feel like I should, or sorry, gone with Jack. I feel like I should have made the move and switched to Toaster.
How much consideration did you give to voting Toaster in the moment? Was it a tough decision for you, or was it something that you weren't really considering? Like, was it something that you really could see yourself having done?
Looking back on it, no, because at the moment Jack put in so much effort, and then we had all the controversy coming from Wims trying to save him and everything. And if I did end up going Toaster, that would have put me in a really awkward spot. So I don't think I would have. I think looking back on it, I wish I did, and I wish I took into consideration to look at, and actually maybe like be a little empathetic towards Jack instead of being a cold-hearted bitch. But yeah, I think that's how I would have looked at it.
I have a question. And if I'm getting a little like too derailed, like you can say ask this at a later time, that's fine. Because you know how I get. But did you realize just how much power you had in that tribe?
Oh, I knew. I was ready.
Okay.
I was so ready because, I mean, I didn't think I knew to like the crazy extent, but I knew I had a lot of sway because after the first vote out, where we were going literally relied on me. And well, Iris too as well, but mainly I was kind of that flip vote who could sway people. So I was feeling pretty good that I would never be the one targeted. And I feel like if I were to suggest something, my name wouldn't come out. Of course, that got all thrown away to Anarchy. But I wasn't feeling like I could make moves yet, but I was feeling like I'm definitely not going to be the next vote.
Let's go ahead and engage with that hypothetical a little bit more. Let's imagine that episode 2 was just a traditional tribe versus tribe immunity challenge, and the old tribe lost again. How do you think that episode would have played out if that tribe went back to tribal for a second time?
Wims would have gone. 100% Wims would have gone. Yeah.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think there's any doubt. It would have been, because by that point I had made a strong connection with Nay. Roman and Iris would have wanted Wims out. Wims and I had a good connection, but it would have been in my best interest to stay with the other ones, which would be Toaster, Nay, Roman, and Iris. Whereas then that would just leave Wims, Jet, and Malai, because Malai was kind of everywhere.
Who?
Oh gosh, Malai? I don't know how to say his name.
Malik?
Oh.
No, we've been saying Molly most of the time, but I'm
Molly.
not 100% sure on the pronunciation
Why
there.
did I say Malik? Okay, sorry.
Malai? How you guys? Malai?
I've been saying it as Molly along
Molly.
in the absence of any other update on how to pronounce that name.
He's never told us how to say it, so.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds right enough for me. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how the vote would have gone Wims, I believe.
Okay. So then we get to, obviously, the relatively infamous by this point joint tribal, double tribal. What was it like first getting to a point where you were going to get to talk with 16 other people who were left in the game at that point in time?
I was not ready. I was totally gooped, gagged, floundering, stressed. I was like, oh gosh, I got to text so many people while I was getting ready, because this is at the end of exams. I was getting ready to go home and, fly home. So I was like packing and trying to text these people. And I was like, this is just too many people. I was like, this is terrible.
Sorry.
Yeah, having that many conversations to negotiate at the same time as each other definitely was one of the wildest things about that round.
Oh, 100%. And like, honestly, mine just came down to me just not having bad luck, really, because I messaged David, and it's funny because I said I really like David, but I messaged basically David and Regina at the same time, and so they used that as saying like I was a social and active player, and then Regina was like, "Oh well, they should go," and then also they have the same name as me, so they should really go. So I was kind of screwed on that way. I guess if I didn't stress over it that much and just kind of left it, maybe Malai would have been the vote, and then I would have been okay. But is what it is. I had just woken up from a nap, so I was like, I'm gonna just text everyone right now, and so that's what I did.
But then being in those two conversations at the same time is what you think the main cause of your downfall was?
Yeah, because I read it after in the confessionals with David and Regina, and they were both talking about how I was messaging them at this exact same time. So I think that's what my downfall was, because I was just messaging too many people, I guess, at the same time. Not 100% sure on how that works, but I'll take it.
I just want to say I don't know that. I mean, it's hard to say because like Jade was going to make sure that Mali was not going out no matter what. And you were like the only visible option. So like if it wasn't for like you messaging at the same time, like Regina literally could have said that Regin has the same name as me, and that would have been the reason. And Jade would have literally been like, okay, well, yep, that's why we're gonna go after them. And they would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it also could have.
No, you go.
But if Jade was just there trying to protect Molly, like it could have just as easily landed on, say, Toaster or anyone else.
It could
like,
have,
it didn't.
yeah, but
yeah, but I had a few people. I feel like, well, not a few people. I just feel like my name was thrown around a bit more, so I feel like it would have. I honestly don't know how I would have gotten out of that. To be fair, like looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I was just stuck. I was just, it was not a good moment.
yeah, because even if you like tried to throw another old person under the bus, like that would have the young people would have then just like went to the other old people and been like, look, they're throwing you under the bus to make them flip on you, and it's like just a bad situation all around.
Yeah, it was my time to go, unfortunately. As much as it sucks, I just don't see another way of someone else going there, which ugh.
You got twist fucked. We twist fucked you.
Literally, and it wasn't even pleasurable. How dare you?
Now, wild twist eliminations have definitely been a little bit of the legacy of Villainviver over the course of our seasons. But this was definitely one of the most unavoidable, probably.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, we could have not done the twist. Like, this was a stupid twist. Like,
no, I mean from like the inside perspective.
okay.
Yeah, like for Regin, this was a very hard situation to get out of. And I definitely can accept that. Now, obviously, being on the receiving end of a brutal twist-induced elimination is typically the sort of thing that tends to lead people to be obvious candidates for something like a second chances season. Is that something that you would be interested in trying to be part of in the future? Some sort of second chances season?
Oh, 100%. I'll be back. Literally say the word and I'll send an application. Like, I'm ready. I'm currently in my org phase right now, and I'm just having fun playing them. So like, send it down the pipeline, honey. I'm ready.
What about like a fans versus favorites season that's happening like season 7? Like theoretically.
I do that too. I think honestly, any way I can sneak my little butt in there, I do it.
Good to know. I do want to go backwards a little bit, like speaking of like shitty twists, let's flip that around and say, so we had a dumb twist. What, if any, that you can think of are or is a twist that you would like to see done in an org?
Oh, a twist that I would like to see done.
It can be anything.
Oh gosh.
And
Not gonna lie, I would have been.
Oh,
I would have. No, it's okay. I would have. It would have been cool if what ended up happening there is like it was anarchy and we all got to talk, but then individually we would get mixed tribes. So like you would randomly after whoever got immunity, you'd be separated into these new temporary tribes, and that would be your tribe, your tribal tribe, and you would vote someone out amongst there for it to just be a little bit more random. Because even though you had the anarchy aspect, then you'd be divided down, and you wouldn't have 16 votes going towards one person or whatever. So that's if that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah, that's an interesting version of that twist that I could definitely see making its way into a season near you someday.
Watch me be the creator of a twist and then go home at it.
That'd be kind of iconic.
I know, I'd be like, I set myself up for the win here. For loss.
On the subject of just generally like ideas that you've seen elsewhere or things like that, or ideas that you come up with on your own or other plays, you mentioned being in your org phase a moment ago. If you had to, not specifically from Villainviver, but more generally, if you were making like a highlight reel of your org experiences, what's that first clip that you want on your personal highlight reel of your time playing orgs so far?
Oh, my first? Probably like some of my most successful blindsides, I'd say. Or just like the moments where I got stuck out of a situation. So like I did Survivor Rewind, the Amazon. That was actually my second org. That was what I did before this. I ended up placing 7th there, but I ended up getting swap screwed, and I managed to pull everyone else to vote with me to vote someone else on the other tribe that I got swap screwed on, because I went into a tribe of 6 with only having one ally from our original tribe. So I was quite proud of that. I think that's what I want my first one to be.
Awesome. Now, after your unfortunate early elimination from season 5, did you end up paying a lot of attention to the rest of the season from the Spec Lounge, or was it something that you weren't following as closely?
I was popping in and out. I was like, what's happening? I was like, definitely not for the first few days because I was still flying home, so I was a little overwhelmed. But once I was home and I was settled, I think the jury had started. Then I, went back. I read everyone's confessionals. I was like, what the fuck is happening up in here? Went through the Spec Lounge a little bit and, reacted to a couple people's confessionals and, kind of caught myself up. I was like, obviously Red Jet's confessionals. My gosh, so good. Ugh, love them. I honestly waited for them to be posted. I was like, come on, I'm ready.
Jet's confessionals this season were like definitely one of the highlights from every perspective, whether it was players going back and reading them after the season, whether it was production and spectators during the season. Like Jet's confessionals were just all time.
So good. Just so good. 10 out of 10. You know what? 100 out of 10.
So true. So with that being said, I guess like what were your thoughts on the season? Like, was it a good season? Was it a mediocre season? Was it a bad season?
I thought it was a really good season. Of course there was the hiccup with Iris, but I don't think that doesn't reflect, I feel like, on the season, as that was one person who just really brought down what happened, because the host put in so much work, you guys put in so much work. It was a really good season, and the players that did come to play fair and play a good game played a good game and made a good season for everyone to watch. And so I think definitely everyone deserves a clap on the back for how they did on this season.
Oh, that's really sweet. Yeah, I think this is. I rated it like in my rankings. I think it was like the second best season we've ever had. Season 3 is number 1.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, but this one was really good. You weren't like in it long enough to, I guess, have like an opinion on this, but like I did find that it was a bit emotional.
Oh yeah, I think the season really was. I think a lot of people, like from what I saw, especially with like Nay and Roman, and then everything that Jade went through, especially, it was it was a very intense, emotionally strong season. Which I mean, Isabel and Vibe, should have expected it, but it was kind of cool to see a lot of those friendships getting built, and to see those people and flourish with people they like and enjoy.
This is a question that I ask everyone who gets interviewed, and it's like on theme with what we're talking about. Do you feel that playing on a bigger stage to a larger audience, like playing a more popular org, I guess, is more pressure, or like is it a different feeling than playing on like a smaller scale? Or like, can you explain the difference, if there is one?
For me, I don't think there's any of a difference. That could be just because I haven't played on enough big orgs, and this was kind of been the only one. Well, I guess I'm on main right now.
Oh yeah, main is pretty
like,
big.
Yeah, so it's hey, top 4. Let's go. Sorry, just need a quick little plug, little celebration there.
Good.
But yeah, so I think it's just I'm just trying to here to vibe. Oh my gosh, making words. I'm just here to kind of vibe and enjoy it, and I think seeing the more reactions in the confessionals is fun, and I definitely do enjoy that. But honestly, I think I'm just here to play the game, whether it's a huge org or just a tiny one. I want to try to kind of put my best foot forward every time.
Right. That's a great way to look at it. It's a really great way to look at it. Building off of what you said previously about like the friendships and stuff, I know you didn't like have a lot of time to develop those friendships, but is there anyone from the season who you still talk to?
Nay and I talk occasionally, usually like at this point every other 5 days, give or take. So like, kind of often. And then Roman and I, we talk a lot. We're actually signing up for a Blood versus Water season currently together right now. That's actually hosted by Ariana and Jaff. So that'll be cool.
Oh, cute. That's awesome. I love that. Like you still have those ties and those connections.
Yeah, that's personally like one of the things that I enjoy most about orgs now that I'm officially in it, and I'm no longer a rookie doing my first one, is that I get to build connections with people that I can keep talking to, and like we can just kind of like bounce around in the servers and cheer each other on and like see what we're all doing, and I think that's like the coolest.
Well, from the subject of the Blood versus Water season you're currently playing, let's flip that around from the positive side and say if you were going to be on a Rivals season or something of that effect with anyone from the season, is there anyone that you see as like a rival who you would like imagine you would be cast against in a Rivals season?
I feel like this should be obvious, but it has to be Regina. If she's not on the other side as my rival, I'm a screen.
That's a good point.
I want her out so bad at one of these orgs. Love you, girl. I do want to vote you out.
I would reiterate our stated clauses about no metagaming, but I did technically ask you about a rival season, so we'll let that one slide.
Okay.
I feel like a rival season is one of the places where metagaming is not only expected but encouraged.
Thank you. I mean, you didn't hear anything that came out of my mouth. What? Can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
So,
all right. Well,
go
ahead.
I was gonna say, so
go ahead.
Where do you go from here? what is what does your org career look like from this point forward? That's such a dumb question, but
No, it's okay. It's moving. I mean, I joined my fourth org, which was Maine. I'm in that. I'm currently in top 4. Very happy about that. The highest I've ever gotten, actually, placement wise. So very, very happy about that. And then
congratulations.
I joined a fifth, or thank you. I joined a fifth org, and then I got voted out 16th, which
Yeah,
that sucked as well. So I literally am still in my fourth and lost my fifth. So that was interesting. But it's hopefully we're going up from here. We're coming back into the getting ready for the next part of the school year. I'm just kind of refreshed because of summer, ready to just kind of have some more fun.
it's a great answer.
Thank you. I try.
Oh, you were gonna say something before I cut you off.
I was going to say, have you ever thought about what you would do if you would ever want to host an org of your own, and what you'd do if you did?
Oh gosh. I'd be down for hosting. I just am I'm just such a perfectionist and all over the place that I think it just caused me a lot of stress, to be honest. But if I did do it, I couldn't be the only host. I need other people there as well. But I think I'd want to do an Atlantis theme or something, or maybe an Olympics theme. I think that'd be fun.
Those are some cool ideas.
There is
Thank you.
there is an Olympics
That's
themed org.
Is there?
Yeah, it's called Org Olympics.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well,
I
I won't steal that idea.
Isn't that just like a series of challenges and games for people from the org community rather than like being a regular org?
I don't know exactly. I've never done it, but
That was my impression of what it was from the outside, but I've never done it either. So I could be wrong. If anyone in the Spec Lounge is sitting here going, "Hello, we know what Org Olympics is," you can totally snark at us in #spectator chat.
I'll just nod and smile. Yeah.
Oh, Regin, you played Simvivor. That was your fifth.
Yeah, that was my fifth. Oof.
I played.
I
played Simvivor too.
You did? What season?
They do it based on the real life Survivor, right?
Yes. Yep.
I played I can't tell you. I don't know. It was a couple months ago. I think I got 17th too.
Oh, look at us. Twinning.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun org. It was hard because I was putting so much effort into Maine, and then I was working as well. So then Simvivor, I didn't think I was honestly going to get cast in Maine. So when I had both of them, I was like, oh shoot. And Simvivor ended up going on the back burner.
I also do the one-on-ones, which is hard, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, that's a good question, actually. How do you feel about the difference between one-on-one orgs and DM orgs?
I'm learning, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I'm. Oh, I don't know if I have enough experience to say whether one's better than the other. I'm sorry.
No, it's a topic of discussion in the org community because there are some people with very strong opinions on each side of it, and some people who don't really have strong preferences. And Gabriel and I happen to be on opposite sides of it, so that's why I was curious to hear your take if you had one.
I'm shunned from the Simvivor community for my opinions on one-on-one. Yeah, so that explains things.
I like the one-on-one chats. No. Gabriel does not.
I didn't mind it. I thought for me it was cool to I guess it was weird because it was my first one-on-one. It was cool that the spectators can see it, but at the same time it was also actually kind of nice to have it all in just one location. But kind of a little overwhelming because I couldn't just like separately like look at them and like actually like. I guess I was worried about having like, you know, some of those deeper conversations that I feel like
Right?
people really like build connections on, because I didn't know if I want people to like see all my personal information.
Like, I'm not going to tell you about the time I OD'd in front of like an audience of 600 people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and like there's a few times where like I'm not going to tell like my coming out story or like things like that, or like any like my really impactful things in front of like a lot of people, because like that's a little weird.
Right.
I agree with you on that. I agree. I think the privacy of one-on-one is a little better.
That's totally fair. Like, that definitely is one of the points in favor of the DM side of things.
Oh gosh, should I make an opinion just on here? Look at us go, shaping my opinion.
The Villain Viber podcast, bringing to you new opinions you didn't know you had since 2021.
You didn't know you were this? Well, now you are.
Well, at the point in time when we're conducting this interview, we're one day away from the preseason speed for the next season, Season 6, and we're about a week away from the marooning of the actual Season 6 proper. Is there anything that you're hoping to see while you're watching this upcoming season?
Honestly, I'm just like ready for the drama. I'm ready for the friendships. I'm ready for the alliances, and I'm ready for the twists. Like, you know, I went out on a twist. I want to see someone else go out on a twist. I'm a little addictive that way, but I'm ready. I feel like, just, you know, bring me everything I want. I don't know what I want, but I'm the cast better bring it to me. That's what I'm gonna say.
I will say the last few seasons we've not had disappointing casts. Season 4 was. We don't talk about season 4, but like the other seasons have been like they've brought it. So like I have high hopes for season 6.
I do too. I think it'll be cool. I'm especially interested to watch the open world aspect of it, because it's anarchy the whole time, isn't it?
It is one. Oh my god, I forgot it was one world. Holy shit. I forgot about it.
So I'm interested to see that dynamic.
That's gonna be crazy. Our first one world season. I don't even think some of the people who applied know that it's one world, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be interesting when they get into it. Honestly, it's like I feel like the first 2 votes in Anarchy, if you start in Anarchy, I feel like are easier, because you can just be like, well, we obviously know the inactives, but I think once you get into it, I feel like that just brings a whole new dynamic. If it's like, well, I like these 3 people and these 3 people, or I have an alliance over here, and it just to get those votes and to have the full numbers, that sounds like a experience.
Wait, are you thinking that one world it's like a merge?
Yeah, isn't it fully?
No, they're in tribes, but
Oh,
they can
God.
talk to everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, gotcha.
If it was
I was
like a
thinking full
merge,
Anarchy.
oh my god, no.
Day 1 merge. I am writing that down for season 23, right here on our Book of Twists.
Hey, do it. I was thinking it was what I did in Maine, because I came in and it was Anarchy for the first 2 rounds. So I was thinking like it was just going to be like everyone talking and voting everyone out. Oh gosh, okay, one world. Okay, that'll be interesting, because then you can form friendships on other sides of the tribe. That's actually really cool. You know what? You guys are onto something. I'm very excited to watch.
I mean, that's just like how it was on the show. So
I know, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
don't give us all the credit.
I don't know. What if I want to? Like, come on.
The fact that we can actually see One World as like a positive twist to incorporate from the show, rather than One World was a bad season, everything about it should be ignored, is something that we're going to take at least a little bit of credit for, because there's a lot of fans out there who just like refuse to see anything positive about One World because of the amount of steamroll the season was. But there's like a sizable section of the fan community that we tend to agree with, who say that like just because the season was a steamroll doesn't mean the twist was a bad twist. Shocker.
Yeah, that can just it just honestly comes down to luck of how the cast. Oh my gosh, I really need to get my talking straight. It's just like how it all interacts and how it ends up going down. Like you never know, you can't predict that. I think it was a pretty good twist, and I think it spiced it up. It was unfortunate how it played out, but I think it was good. The only bad season I'll say is a bad season is Nicaragua. That was a bad season.
I don't think I've seen it. Don't spoil.
No spoilers.
I won't spoil anything on air. We can have a conversation about different seasons after the fact, though, Regan, at some point.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Without spoiling it, so let's just stick to like season name or something. What was your favorite season of the actual the regular show?
Oh, my favorite actual? Probably either Heroes versus Villains or Samoa.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who are like, really? And I'm like, yeah, no, I really liked Samoa. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun season.
I can understand that perspective, definitely. I can see like that there are a lot of things to like about it, but again, we'll save that discussion for a point when we don't have listeners who might want to
Yes.
avoid being spoiled.
Yes. What's your favorite? What are your guys? What is everyone's favorite?
My favorite season is 27, Blood versus Water.
Okay. Okay.
Mine's China.
Oh,
Ooh, that's also very high on my list. I really like
that's
that
a good
season.
one. That is a very good season.
Todd
I
is
agree.
the best character ever. I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him. I want to. He is like my role model when it comes to like play. Like I want to be him as a player.
Wait, who do you want to be? Sorry, I missed that.
Todd from China.
Oh, Todd. Oh. Oh, wait, no spoilers, but yeah.
I will never be him as a player, but I won't.
Me neither.
I like to think that I am, but I am not. I said that I was
I'm
once,
probably
and
a
everyone
Courtney.
looked at me like really weird. They were like, okay. Wait,
They were like,
that's
a thought.
Is this spoilery if we ask Regan what Survivor player they think they are like?
No, I think that's a reasonable question. Or what Survivor player would you want to play like if you had the chance to? Yeah, or who do you think you're like? Any combination thereof. Just like try not to.
3 fields. 3 fields. 100%.
That's who you think you're like, or who you'd like to be like?
That's who I think I am. I would also like to be them because I feel like I'm more social. I'm not always great in the challenges, but I definitely put a good foot forward. And I'm like strategic, but my social game is what gets me farther. So I think, 3 fields. Yeah.
I love that comparison.
Yeah,
I can see it.
I can see it.
But yeah, that's how I pick myself. Yep. How about you guys? What is everyone's thoughts?
I'm trying to think what other comparisons I would come up with for you, but I think Suri is a good one. That's for sure. I mean, definitely like you want to think about one of those, social players who still has that strong strategic side. If I had to think of someone else who immediately fits that bill, I could even see a little bit of like either Gabby or Christian from David versus Goliath, because they both have like the strong strategic side, but also sort of lead with their social a bit. So I could see those as good comparisons for you also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why, thank you. It's funny, the hosts and we were talking about Avatar The Last Airbender. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
very much so.
Hey, good. I was about to be very concerned if you didn't. But they all said I was a Zula, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to get my...
Wait, who?
I need to check myself if they think I'm a Zula.
What season is that?
Oh, no, this is...
No, from Avatar The Last Airbender.
Oh,
yeah.
That's embarrassing for me.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I mean, to be fair, like Azula is like a probably top 10, top 20 most iconic villain in all things put together that I have ever seen. So like it's definitely a good comparison.
True, but I don't know if I'm that cold-hearted. Maybe I am.
I mean good in the sense of like honoring, not in the sense of accurate.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, I've actually okay. My I don't know. Can I say this? I think I can say this. My VLs for main org have all been me being Scarlet Witch. I watched the Multiverse of Madness and I decided I am Wanda. So that's just how I've been making my VLs. It's been a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Did you take any I can't see them in main org, but are you taking inspiration from Jet's style of storytelling in doing that?
No, unfortunately, I'm not. I am not creative enough for that. I am a full science major. I don't think I could whisk anything up like that.
That gives us a little bit of a segue too then. What sort of stuff, I mean, I know you just mentioned a science major. What do you see yourself wanting to do, outside of org world, but in your regular everyday world?
Oh yeah, so I am in my undergraduate for pre-med right now. I'm hoping to eventually take my MCAT at the end of this year, which will be my third. And then I'm hoping to get into med school. My dream job is a fetal surgeon. It's been my dream job since I was 13. But yeah, that's where I'm trying to go.
Wow, that sounds very exciting, but also like extremely intense.
Yeah, 16 years of school. First 8, I actually have to be in school and pay for it. And then it's like 8 years after where it's residency and stuff because I have to become a general surgeon first. Before then, I can follow to become a fetal surgeon. It's a whole lot of stuff.
Wow. Go you, though.
Thank you. I try my best. I've always I come from a big family where I helped like all my brothers and sisters like growing up and everything. So I want to like be actively involved in like helping other kids grow and like shape the next generation. Just because my mom also has her master's in child and infant care, so she puts a lot of work forward for moms and babies. So I also kind of wanted to follow in that.
Wow, that's extremely exciting.
Thanks. Sorry, I made the combo very deep.
No, you didn't.
No, that's what we like. That's what we love. Like that is the conversation that makes this sort of conversation. So we appreciate it. Don't apologize for it.
Okay. All right. Sorry, it's the Canadian coming out in me.
Totally understood. All right. Any other advice or anything of that nature that you want to give to our listeners, or any thoughts that you want to share?
My only advice is if you're on a season where you have the same name as someone or it's very close, get them out before they get you out. That's my word of advice.
So the island is only big enough for one of each name. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other closing
Yeah.
thoughts today, Gabriel?
Do any of the listeners have any questions that they want to type or come on and ask themselves?
Oh, well, I'll take questions.
We'll give it a second. The sky is typing. And Alan, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Is typing. Regin, why did you get out in Survivor? I wanted to align you at Merge. You were at the top of my list, says Sky.
So we can't talk about other ongoing seasons right now, unfortunately. But we can have that conversation off the air or something, or you can have that conversation off the air, but we can't have that conversation right here, unfortunately.
You can always DM me. I'm open for it.
Yeah, after the season is over, we can talk about that if we want to, but while it's ongoing, even if you're both out, we're going to keep that off of the air. Oh, okay. We have a question from Aline saying, what do you think about people who make alliances on day one, or about making alliances on day one?
I definitely think you can make alliances on day one. I definitely think be careful though, because as you eventually get to know people at a deeper level than that initial talk, plans could change and you could have to go back on your word, which was originally made alliance. So I definitely think do it, but be very careful on how you do that and proceed forward.
Solid advice.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. It's getting out 16th, 17th has really made me just a wealth of knowledge. Who would have thought?